Well, it's been a while, and I figure we should probably do a recap to start things off here, because I don't know about you, but I've forgotten what all has been done. So, starting off chronologically, we'll go back to our mangrove swamp. This was our starter base of sorts. It has a lot of detail and sound effects and little cool things that I tried to add in, but I really liked this build, and it also kind of starts the, setting the theme a little bit for our season, which is going to be very swamp-centric. But moving on, we also have the industrial district with a whole bunch of different farms, and, well, I really actually don't know all of them anymore, but there's a lot here, and we should have most of what we need to really, live out the rest of the season without having to worry about resources much. We might need to build a couple more farms, but it shouldn't be really anything too big or hard to deal with. And then finally, the perch, as somebody called it. I actually don't know who put this sign here. Purple Church. It's been here for, I guess, a couple of months now, just sitting by itself. And, well, you can't really see it when we're too close up. Let's move over here. We have this little spot marked here for our first sight line that I wanted to focus on. And you can see it looks pretty nice. We're not done, though. There's wool all around here. We need to continue building out a whole town to surround this church. And, well, I don't have plans. We have the wool down to mark out some of the streets that are right here, but I don't have the plans for the builds to go by the streets. I don't know really what to do with this courtyard just yet until I got the buildings in. And I don't know what to do with the interior of this church. I do want to do an interior, I think. I haven't gotten it in creative mode yet or anything like that. But I think that might be a good project to start out a video. So I think, to start off, our first time on the server in months, let's leave the server and go to a creative mode testing world. Okay, we're here. You can kind of notice a few things right off the bat here that I've done in creative. We've removed the floor because we're going to have to build a new floor anyways, so got that out of the way. And I also marked out some wool. We basically have to build a whole new wall inside of this wall. That's kind of how you have to do interiors, unfortunately, with this kind of build. So we're gonna, just kind of build two walls here. Well, I guess just one more wall. We already have one wall. So that's what the wool is marking out. This is kind of our overall floor footprint that we have to work with. I do need to mark out some other things like the roof and stuff. There are some complicated bits that I don't know what to do with, like this and this. I think this is just going to get covered up. Same with the bell tower. I think a lot of things more or less just need covered up, right? But there's a few things that we can work with a little bit more, I think. Yeah, let me get into this. I'll kind of just try and plan out the wool a little bit more here. I'm not going to go too far into the building process so as to not spoil the final product until we build it on the server. But you'll get to see a little bit more than just this. So let me get started on this. We'll do a time lapse or something. I don't remember how to do any of this stuff. Let's get started. Wool. Lots of wool. I don't want to worry about texturing or colors or anything just yet, so I did kind of just simple wool colors. I did intentionally try and make them the color that they're not going to eventually be, but I did do white here, which I think might be the color that eventually becomes. I don't know that it could change. But yeah, we have the exterior walls is what I'm calling them, even though they're in the interior. We have those covered up. So we have a bunch of wool, and we have the general kind of room that we can work with marked out. What we need now is to add a little bit more of the shape and kind of planning and floor plan of all of it, right? So we need to kind of designate where things are over here. We need like the pews lined out over here. We need the aisle, make sure that's clear, and we need to make sure we have a good sight line, I think, from this spot right here. We also need a few other things, right? Part of that whole plan is marking out pillars, like support beams, and like that kind of thing on the ceiling. We need to fix this. This is such a weird shape right now without any support or anything like that, so we need to kind of like maybe put a pillar right there or something. I don't even know. I haven't really messed around with it just yet. And we also have a couple weird things that I don't know what to do with, like this. I don't know if that looks good. We might just cover that up and make it part of the ceiling, you know? Because we don't actually need, I don't think, that block there, right? So we can kind of cover that up, I think, pretty easily and just blend it in and not ever worry about it ever again. But I'm not sure. We'll kind of just plan this out. I think we got a few more things we can like just do in wool before I kind of give away the whole build, you know? I don't want to do that. So we're going to continue on the playing process and then maybe work on something else. But we need to plan things out more. Well, I'm gonna be honest here. It's been like a month since I recorded the last clip. It's not that I haven't had free time. I have had free time. I've actually been working in a copy of the church over there on the interior since this last clip. This is where we left off. It's not that. It's some other things, but let's first talk about all this wool. It's been working pretty good so far. After this point, it kind of gets into spoiler territories pretty quickly because then I start doing the texturing and then it looks not quite complete. There's going to be a lot more detail and stuff. But at this point, this is really the last you can see of it without getting into spoilers. So this is where you guys are going to, stop seeing behind the scenes. But why have I been waiting a month to show you guys that? Well, I'm just kind of not sure. I've kind of thought through this episode a lot, and I wanted it to do something, like be interesting and kind of like move the episodes and series forward a little bit. It's our first time back in a while, and so I wanted to like maybe announce something or do something important in this episode, and I haven't really thought of what that was going to be. I have now, which is why I'm back. But it kind of slowed down the whole process a lot, and it probably wasn't too important or that good of an idea to begin with to kind of stress over that. But I do have something to announce now. I'm going to wait till the end of the episode, because that way you have to watch till the end. But nonetheless, I do have something to announce. We're not going to get into that right now. We're going to keep working. And I think I mentioned making plans for another building and just kind of like putting a wool wireframe up. I do like that plan. I think that would kind of make a nice episode theme or whatever, but I don't want to do it. I want to do redstone. We're going to do redstone. Let's go over to the industrial district. We have a moss farm here in the industrial district. We've had it here for a long time. I've been using the bone meal and the moss and different stuff for the projects and builds and everything else that we have down here. Well, we also have a flower farm. I don't know why it doesn't have that on the sign, but this is what this is. It's a little flower farm, and you can see it's pretty much out of bone meal. There's a little bit left in the droppers, but for the most part, we're out. We need more bone meal from up here to go down there, and we also need bone meal a little bit for the tree farm. I don't use this too often because I usually need leaves, but when I do, you can see there's bone meal that is needed. We need to hook up these farms to each other. I've been planning on doing that for a really long time. That's why they're all next to each other. But yeah, I just haven't gotten around to it. Let's go ahead and do this. It should be pretty easy. All we need to do is take the bone meal from these composters, probably craft it into blocks first, because that way we can like kind of store it in bulk more, and then move it between these farms, decraft it wherever it needs to be decrafted at, and not at the other places, because we don't need the bone meal to constantly be going to all the farms. So we need to have kind of like switches. I prefer them to be automatically like toggled whenever the farms need bone meal. Should be pretty easy. I did pretty much the exact same thing last season. So we're gonna do that again. I did it, I think, pretty much by myself last time, so we're gonna try and do that again. See what we end up making. The only thing we have to worry about that's a little bit different this time is the location of that TNT that comes from the tree farm. We need to make sure that this doesn't blow up, but that shouldn't really be an issue. Everything should be outside of the range. So yeah, let's go ahead, do some redstone. We'll see what we end up with. So this is a mess, but it works. If you remember, I was talking about how we like craft it here and then we send the items down and decraft them over there. That's what we did basically. We have a little bit of item distribution going on now. There's automatic kind of redstone lines being powered from the bone meal storage of the different farms, sending signals back to sending signals back and forth to the item distributor so that we know what needs bone meal and what doesn't automatically. We don't have to like manually sort or even like flip switches or anything. It's all just done and I don't have to ever worry about it, which is exactly what I wanted. Basically how it works, there's kind of 3 steps. So we have a crafter here that crafts it all into bone meal. We technically don't have to do that. Technically, like you could just use regular bone meal, have a dropper here instead that just sends bone meal through the whole system instead of bone blocks. I chose to do bone blocks for 2 reasons. Mostly lag. I don't really think having that many items around on the server all the time is a good thing, but also because I figure it kind of gives us a little bit more leeway in terms of timing and kind of like not having to worry about items getting lost in the system and everything like that as much. Now there is still a chance that we end up sending items to the wrong spots, but I don't think it's really that big of a deal whenever it's bone blocks and they're so like they don't come out of the system very often. Like if we sit here for a while, we still haven't seen a bone block come through because it takes a little bit for this to actually craft. But that's not the only thing that's going on here. You can see that the bone meal the bone block gets spit out here and goes through this water stream, and it goes over these 3 hoppers. There's 1, 2, 3. And if these hoppers weren't locked, it would go to the first one, then the second one, then the third one, right? So this first one goes to the tree farm, and it's locked right now because the tree farm is full of bone meal. But it goes down the water stream, it goes into that crafter there, it gets crafted, and sends bone meal here. That signal then gets read by the comparator there, sends that signal all the way up to the item distributor through the back there and powers this hopper, so the hopper no longer picks up stuff. And then it goes to the second one. If this one's empty, or if the signal says that the farm's empty, more accurately, then this hopper gets locked, which if we go around the back, it's also locked right there. That's the redstone powering that hopper. So we have that going on through the flower farm. It's basically the same system as the tree farm. And then if everything's locked except this hopper, this hopper doesn't have a way of being locked. It just ends up here, and it goes down into these chests where I can easily grab bone blocks. So we have a bunch of bone blocks there. Very simple system. I made it myself, and I think it works pretty neatly. There's a little bit of a mess, like I said, with the redstone. It does. There's definitely a better way of sending signals here. I just didn't care to actually like think it through, so I just put redstone lines down. It works. It's fine. You know, it's the amount of resources it would take to do a more efficient method versus that. I mean, it's fine. It's fine. But I think that's pretty much all we have time for this episode. Well, I mean, I technically, I think I actually could do a little bit more, but I want to end the episode here, especially since I'll be able to tell you guys about what the announcement is. I'm starting a new channel. That's the announcement. Basically, there's something I want to make and publish that doesn't really fit on this channel very well. It's something that I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. So I've kind of known that I'm doing this for a little bit now. And it's something that I think is kind of important and interesting and, you know, cool. So I wanted to do this. I don't know really how much of my audience of this channel is going to be interested in that channel. But if you're interested, go check it out. I'll probably put it in the end card. There will probably be that there. I'll probably put a link in the description, in the comments section, maybe on an info card that's appearing on screen right now if I can remember and know how to do that. Basically, it's pretty easy access, and if you aren't interested but think you know somebody who is interested, go tell them. All right. Of course, if you're wondering what this channel is about, just go and check it out. I don't really know of a good way to explain it completely. But yeah, it should actually have the first little video out right now. I think I timed it so that they both release at the same time. So go watch and stuff. Yeah. See you guys next week. I'm in an episode here. Thank you guys all for watching. God bless.